sulphurous, wine gusted in his wake. The dust of the street swirled and the folds of his black coat flapped against his thin body. This is a quote from F. Stewart's book Killers and Demons, which I didn't read, but I found while looking at a search on Goodreads.com. She could be talking about vampires or demons or the FBI, but I think I can relate to the scary quote. Some of you may be wondering how I chills would handle a scary situation like the ones I show you. Some of you may also be wondering about what's the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. Like and subscribe, because today I am going to be sharing with you my top list of the top 10 scariest day of my life ever. Number 10. The air was thin, dried and crisp on a late December night. Walking down the wet streets of Calgary, I noticed a strange silence growing in front of me. At first I didn't mind it. I was just on my way to buy some chips before returning home. The cars along the street were empty, lights off along the houses. The moon became my only light source as gradually I started to feel much more alone, as if I was entering a twilight zone. All I could hear was the sound of my boots sloshing on the wet pavement. As I approached the end of the block, the stoplight broke and was only flashing red. Slowly it seemed there was a low hum or a buzz droning in the intersection. As I reached the edge of the sidewalk, I felt pulled into the center, not just in my mind, but my body as well. The buzzing grew louder as I was being sucked into a psychic black hole. I started to panic, pulling my body back, but I was losing control of my limbs. I was leaning back, stretching my arms out to grab onto anything as my legs were gliding me further in, pulling me almost parallel to the ground, where a loud buzzing mass was forming in the asphalt, growing warmer as it was building itself, until pop. The light shattered, spraying glass everywhere like sharp confetti. I covered my face and curled up. I noticed I wasn't being pulled anymore, and I shot up to see what had happened. The mass had formed into a creature, steaming the ground around it as a massive heat was radiating from it. My vision became slightly blurred from the waves of heat, but I could see what looked like something pink with a white shirt and green pants.
Holy crap, Lois, I'm Family Guy.
I couldn't believe my eyes. My hands were shaking. My whole body was covered in chills, and again I seemed to have no meaningful control over my body. My legs felt numb. Unable to move them, it seemed like they had somehow sunken into the ground. If you're liking this video so far, be sure to drop a like and share this video while you still have control of your limbs. And also be sure to check out my new single Doo Doo on SoundCloud and Wumpums.com. Now let's get back to the video. WW what? I exclaimed, fearful of my life.
Holy crap, Lois, it's Childs.
What do you want from me? Why can't I move my limbs?
What are you doing out on a night like this, Childs? Don't you know it's Wumpus FM?
Peter Griffin, what are you talking about? It's December 22nd.
No, Childs, you don't want to be out here alone so close to Wumpus. There are dangerous spirits out looking for Wumpus. Have you made your gift for the spirit of Wumpus?
Peter guy, don't understand. What is a Wumpums?
Hey, Lois, this guy doesn't ever know what Wumpus is. It reminded me of that time.
Peter, no. I slap Peter and this somehow brings him back. Peter, you've got to help me get out of this.
Well, there's only one way out of this one, pal.
Peter, I can't feel my legs.
If you want to evade the banshee of Wumpus, you are going to need to make a video.
A video? I do that all the time. Does the Wumpums like top 10 lists?
This video needs to be special. If you don't put your heart into it, the Wumpus banshee will take a part of yourself.
As Peter reached forward, his hand phased right through my chest. A growing cold spread from within me, and I began to feel weightless. My feet flowed from out of their previous captivity. Peter's face began to shift as my vision began to fade into a white void, no longer able to see my body. I moved like a balloon suspended in air, beginning to be blown in the growing cold wind. A sharp pain began to emerge on my head. It was at this moment that I was starting to feel a lot like the Joker from the movie The Joker, because I had been hit by a car, but instead of running into traffic, I was dropped into it, denting the hood of the car and cracking the windshield. The fall was very rough, but I suddenly had control over my body again in a burst of energy. I rolled off of the car and began running off. The driver got out and tried to call me, but I didn't have the time to talk. I knew that I didn't have much time left if what Peter had said was true, so I ran back home and got started on a video that would hopefully appease the so-called Wumpums banshee. I went online to see if I could find anything out about Wump Mass. Was it demonic? Was it a cult? Some people might think so. An archive filled with very strange videos suggests that there's some kind of ritual happening annually. none of them alike and some very sinister. I couldn't find any evidence of other people encountering Peter Griffin, but it does seem like they're trying to appease some spirit. I did find a lot of Family Guy funnies while I was searching, and I learned a few voices.
Hey, Peter.
I can kinda do that one, but it's pretty hard on my voice, so there it is. My scariest experience I've ever had. I still have dreams of Peter every so often, and I can still remember the feeling of what he did to me. That night will always haunt me. If you've made it this far in the video, I have a challenge for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell. Also be sure to stick around for a new merch drop. Big Booty Skaters has been my favorite project to work on recently, and with Wumpums right around the corner, you're gonna want to grab yourself some appropriate attire. Also be sure to...
Holy crap, what was I, Family Guy?